Hello, I'm Rowley. I'm not a custodian of a woodland today, but I'm talking to you as a researcher. Back in 2015, I wrote a paper about uh, Nazis and Christmas time. You would think these two don't go together, and they don't. But with this additional research and finding a film called Christmas with a Führer, I decided to reopen my research and make this short documentary. Please, I would be interested in your views. But let's get on with it, and happy Yule! The Nazis, as you can imagine, didn't want Christian values creeping into German society, but they needed the support of the people. In an attempt to reduce the influence of the Christian faith, the Nazis decided to take care of that. Of course, even the most anti-clerical Nazi fanatic had to be clear that the Christmas tree decorated with lights could not simply be taken away from the Germans. So the Nazis tried a method that, ironically enough, Christians had already used, keeping the ritual but replacing the content. After all, Christian missionaries had managed to transform pagan festivals of light at the winter solstice into a Christian celebration by connecting them with the birth of Jesus. The chief Nazi ideologist, Alfred Rosenberg, replaced the Christmas tree with a Pacific Christmas tree, decorated with National Socialist motifs to match. In general, attempts were made to limit the use of Christian symbols in public. Saint Nicholas was de-Christianized and turned into a grey rider bringing gifts. Nazis told stories to the children about how the Germanic god Woden was actually this figure. The Christmas stolen was also turned to rune-shaped, and popular Christmas songs were rewritten. At Christmas 1939, on the first Christmas Eve of the war, Hitler made a surprise visit to the Western Front and mingled with the troops as a first soldier. In a glorifying poem, Christmas with a Führer, by the Swiss-born Nazi poet Heinrich Haneke. This is what he wrote.
Not as a generalen leader of the battle did you come to the front on the holy night. All you wanted was by candlelight be a comrade to the soldiers.
From 1941 onwards, the tense supply situation began to affect the festival. It became more and more frugal. In addition, there were increasingly, in the last years of the war-related deaths and the effects of bombing raids. While the regime glorified the myth of soldiers of Christmas, the mood of the population increasingly turned sarcastic. Propaganda Minister Goebbels noted in his diary at the end of November 1941.
He ordered that there should be as little talk about Christmas as possible this year. Unlike before, Christmas this year begins for us on Christmas Eve and ends at noon on Christmas Day. We also can't have any sales on Sundays for Christmas at the same rate as there used to be, because there's hardly anything left to buy. Under no circumstances should there be a sentimental atmosphere at Christmas this year. It must be a very hard and rough wartime Christmas.
Despite all propaganda effects, the Nazis' de-Christianized successes were always limited. Before the end of the war, the Nazis had come to realize that they didn't have the support of the people. The closer the Allied armies got to Germany, the less attractive Nazi Christmas became. After the war, people were well advised to dispose of the dangerous tree decorations any way they could. So you could say Father Christmas ended the war for the people.